Dear students, after studying this module, you shall be able to know about the life history of Harry Stack Sullivan, learn about the concept of personality, pre-personification, tension, level of cognition and stages of development, evaluate the impact of Sullivan theory in the understanding of human personality. Harry Stack Sullivan was a US psychiatrist who developed a theory of personality based on interpersonal relationships. He was trained in psychoanalysis in the United States, but soon he drifted from certain psychoanalytical beliefs while retaining some of the core concepts of Freud. He believed that anxiety and other psychiatric symptoms arises from fundamental conflicts between the individual and his human environment, and the personality development takes place by a series of interaction with other people. He believes that the personality is a pure entity and illusion which cannot be examined or studied apart from interpersonal situation. It is not the person. Personality manifests itself in the person's behavior in relation to the other individuals. Sullivan highlights that society is the actual creator of the person's personality. Personality can only exist in relation to others. A person may have a maladjusted personality if he or she lives in an unstable environment. Life consists of interwoven tension from the beginning up to the later stage of the existence. As human beings mature, they learn to reduce tension using dynamism such as self-system, personification and cognitive experiences. Thus, Sullivan placed a lot of emphasis on both the cognitive representation as well as social aspect of personality. Biographical sketch. Harry Stack Sullivan, born in the farming community of Norwich, New York on 21st February 1892. He was the only surviving child of a poor Irish farmer. His childhood was apparently a lonely one, his friends and playmates consisting largely of the farm animals. His mother, who was sickly and was unhappy with the family's poor situation and is reported to have shown her son little affection. Sullivan's professional view in later life seems to have been influenced by his personal experiences. He took his medical degree at Chicago College of Medicine and Surgery in 1917. In 1909, he began working with William Alison White, an early American psychologist at St. Elizabeth Hospital in Washington, D.C. In 1936, he helped establish the Washington School of Psychiatry. In later life, he served as professor and head of the Department of Psychiatry in Georgetown University Medical School, president of the William Alison White Psychiatric Foundation, editor of Psychiatry, and the chairman of the Council of Fellows of the Washington School of Psychiatry. Sullivan's approach to psychiatry emphasized the social factors which contribute to the development of personality. He differed from Freud in viewing the significance of the early parent-child relationship as an early quest for security by the child, not as being primarily sexual. It is here that one can see Sullivan's own childhood experiences determining the direction of his professional thought. On January 14, 1949, he died in Paris while returning from a meeting of the executive board of the World Federation for Mental Health. He was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. Core concept of the theory: tensions. Sullivan conceptualized personality as the energy system, with energy existing either as energy transformation or as tension. He further divided tensions into needs and anxiety. Need can be related to either to the general well-being of a person or to a specific zone such as the mouth or genital. General needs can be either interpersonal such as tenderness and intimacy or physiological such as food or oxygen. Zonal needs comprises of the zone that interacts with the environment or satisfaction of the general needs. Each zone utilizes more energy than is needed for satisfaction. Excess energy is transformed into various dynamism. Anxiety Anxiety is a feeling of emotional discomfort toward the relief of prevention of which all behavior is aimed. Civilian believes that anxiety is chief disruptive force in interpersonal relation and the main factor in the development of serious difficulties in living. It arises out of one's inability to satisfy needs or achieve interpersonal security. All infants learn to be anxious through the empathetic relationship that they have with their mothering one. A complete absence of anxiety and other tensions is called euphoria. Constituent of personality. Personality is a product of interpersonal relationship with other person. Personality is a relatively enduring pattern of recurrent interpersonal situation that characterize a human life. Dynamism. Dynamism is used by civilian to refer to a typical pattern of behavior. It may relate either to specific zones of the body or to tension and how it interacts with the environment. Most dynamics serve the purpose of satisfying the basic need of the organism. These are 4 different types of dynamism. Malevolence, a destructive dynamism of evil and hatred, is called malevolism, defined by Sullivan as a feeling of living among one's enemy. Malevolent may face such difficulty giving and receiving tenderness or being intimate with other people. It originates during late infancy or early childhood as a result of harsh parental interaction. Intimacy. The conjunctive dynamism marked by a close personal relationship between two people of equal status is called intimacy. Intimacy smoothens the process of interpersonal development while decreasing both anxiety and loneliness. It manifests during pre-adolescence in establishment of special friends, originates in the tenderness but is restricted to individual of more or less equal status and same sex. It's an integrating and rewarding dynamism. Lust. Lust is an isolating dynamism in contrast to both malevolence and intimacy. Lust can be satisfied in the absence of one intimate interpersonal relationship. Thus, we can say that the lust is a self-centered need. In other words, although intimacy assumes tenderness or love, lust requires no other person for its satisfaction and it is based solely on sexual gratification. It originates pre-adolescence and leads to reduction in self-esteem, anxiety. Self-system is the most inclusive of all dynamism or that pattern of behavior that protect us against anxiety and maintains our interpersonal security. The self-system tends to suppress the personality change because its primary job is to protect the self from anxiety. Experiences that are conflicting with our self-system pressurize our security and necessitate our use of security operations, which consist of behaviors designed to reduce interpersonal tensions. One such security operation is dissociation, which includes all those experiences that we obstruct from awareness. Another is selective inattention, which involves blocking only when certain experiences from awareness. Personification. He believed that people acquire certain images of self and others throughout the developmental stages, and he referred to these subjective perceptions as personifications. These images can be accurate or distorted. Sullivan described 3 basic personifications that develop during infancy: the bad mother, the good mother, and the me. In addition, some children acquire an idiotic personification during childhood. Bad mother, good mother. The bad mother personification develops out of infants' experience with a nipple that does not satisfy their hunger needs. Even though their real mothers may be loving and nurturing, all infants experience the bad mother personification. Later, infants, as they become mature enough to recognize the tender and cooperative behavior of their mothering one, they acquire a good mother personification. Still later, these 2 personifications combine to form a complex and contrasting image of the real mother. Me personification. The infant develops 3 kinds of personification of himself: the bad me, when a person experiences punishment and disapproval; the good me, when his behavior is accepted and praised; the not me, when a person dissociates or selectively inattention the experiences related to anxiety. Idiotic personification. One of Sullivan's most interesting observations was that people often create imaginary traits that they project onto others. Included in these idiotic personification are the imaginary playmates that preschool aged children often have. These imaginary friends enable children to have a safe, secure relationship with other person even though that person is imaginary. Now, levels of cognition. Sullivan recognized three ways of perceiving things or level of cognition: prototaxic, parataxic and syntaxic. Prototaxic level. Prototaxics are referred to the experiences that are impossible to put into words or to communicate to others. Newborn infants experiences images mostly on a prototaxic level, but adults too frequently have pre-verbal experiences that are transitory and incompetent of being communicated. Parataxic level are referred to the experiences that are pre-logical and nearly impossible to accurately communicate to others. Included in these are erroneous assumptions about causes and effects, which Sullivan termed paradoxic and distortion. Syntaxic level. Syntaxic are referred to as experiences that can be accurately communicated to others. At about 12 to 18 months of age, children become capable of syntaxic language when words begin to have the same meaning for them that they do for others. Now, stages of development. Sullivan gave 7 stages of interpersonal development from infancy to mature adulthood. Personality changes can take place at any time but are more likely to occur during transition between stages. The first development stages is infancy, which starts at birth and continue till the maturation of capacity for language, a time when the child receives tenderness from the mothering one while also learning anxiety through an empathetic linkage with the mother. Anxiety may increase to the point of terror, but such terror is controlled by the built-in protection of empathy and drowsy detachment that allow the baby to go to sleep. During the infancy, child use autistic language which take place on a prototaxic or parataxic level. Next level is childhood, age 1 to 5. The second developmental stage is childhood. The childhood is the era of the most influential acculturization process, the stage that lasts from the beginning of syntaxic language until the need for playmates of equal status is called childhood. The child's primary interpersonal relationship continues to be with the mother, who is now differentiated from the other person who nurtured the child. Juvenile era, ages 6 to 8. These stages begin with the need of peers of equal status and continues until the child develops a need for an intimate relationship with a friend. At this time, children should learn how to compete, to negotiate and to cooperate. These three abilities as well as an orientation toward living help a child develop intimacy, the chief dynamism of the next developmental stage. Pre-adolescence, ages 8 and a half and to 12. Pre-adolescence starts between the age of 8 and a half and 12. The error made earlier can be corrected during pre-adolescence, but errors made during pre-adolescence are nearly impossible to overcome in later life. Thus, pre-adolescence is considered the most vital stage in the development. It covers the time from the need of a single best friend until puberty. It is characterized by the appearance of capacity to love. Usually the attachment takes place with the same sex individual. Children who do not learn intimacy during pre-adolescence have added difficulties relating to potential sexual partners during later stages. Next is early adolescence, ages 13 to 17. With puberty comes to the lust dynamism, the beginning of early adolescence, a coexistence of intimacy with a single friend of the same gender and sexual interest in many persons of the opposite gender marks the development during the stage. However, children may confuse lust with love and develop sexual relationships that are devoid of true intimacy if they do not have pre-existing capacity for intimacy. Late adolescence. Chronologically, late adolescence may start at any time after about age 16. But psychologically, it begins when a person is able to feel both intimacy and lust toward the same person. Late adolescence is characterized by a stabilization of prefixed genital activity and the growth of syntactic mode as young people learn how to live in the adult world. Last is adulthood, ages 23 and on. Late adolescence flows into adulthood, a time when a child establishes a stable love relationship with a significant other person based on mutual respect and develop a consistent pattern of viewing the world. Evaluative comments. Civilian theory of interpersonal relation has contributed to the field of psychology in major ways. Firstly, he drifted from Freud in his approach and talked about how anxiety existed as a result of various social situations. He gave importance to the social factors around us. Also, his interpersonal theory provides the theoretical basis for interpersonal psychotherapy for depression and schizophrenia. Despite Sullivan's insight into the importance of interpersonal relations, his theory of personality and his approach to psychotherapy suffers from its own share of criticism. In summary, his theory rates very low in falsifiability and the average in its capacity to organize knowledge and to guide action. Critics note the abstract nature of his concept and the resultant lack of empirical testing. In addition, it is only average in self-consistency and low in parsimony, and the role of interpersonal factors in his theory may be overextended. Now we come to the summary. Sullivan emphasized the role of interpersonal relationships and social experiences in shaping personality of a person. He talks about the experiences that take place on three levels: prototaxic, parataxic and syntaxic. Two aspects of experiences are tensions and energy transformation. Tensions are further divided into needs and anxiety. Needs are conjunctive in that they facilitate interpersonal development. Anxiety, on the other hand, is disjunctive in that it interferes with the satisfaction of needs and is the primary obstacle to establishing healthy interpersonal relationships. Energy transformations become organized into consistent traits or behavior pattern called dynamism. Typical dynamism include malevolence, intimacy and lust. Sullivan's chief contribution to personality was his concept of various developmental stages. The first developmental stage is infancy, a time when an infant's primary interpersonal relationship is with the mothering one. During childhood, the mother continues as the most important interpersonal relationship. Although children of this age often have an imaginary playmate. The third stage is juvenile era, a time when children should learn competition and compromise and cooperation, skills that will enable them to move successfully through later stages of development. The most crucial stage of development is pre-adolescence, with a best friend to the beginning of puberty. During early adolescence, young people are motivated by both intimacy and lust. People reach late adolescence when they are able to direct their intimacy band lust towards one person. The successful completion of late adolescence culminates in adulthood, a stage marked by a stable love relationship.